All right guys, today on the Art of Plating, we're gonna talk about some fun dishes from the seaside. We've got a crab salad served with an avocado mousse, sun-gold tomatoes, little textural differences throughout the plate. And then we're gonna go into a pan-seared scallops dish with some creamy polenta, pork belly, pickled peppers, and some plantain chips just for some texture there as well. Stay tuned. All right guys, today we're gonna make something nice, light, and refreshing. We're gonna make a Dungeness crab salad, and we're gonna serve it with a little avocado mousse, some charred corn, some sun-gold tomatoes, and a few other little textural components to go to the dish. All right, we're gonna start with the avocado mousse. And as you could imagine, it has avocados in it. So we're gonna throw those in the blender. We need some liquid so that we can get the party started here, get everything turning. And just water is all we need. A little acidity to keep it from oxidizing. Cut through that richness that the avocado tends to have. And everything needs salt. Don't tell my doctor I said that. All right, and just like that, we now have our avocado mousse ready to go. And let's grab a bowl here and get it ready to go. All right, what else we're gonna do here? We're gonna season up our crab, and we're just gonna add a little fresh thyme. We're not even gonna chop it, we're just gonna pull the leaves off. All right, I lied, we'll chop it one time. I'll never lie to you again, I swear. All right, so into the bowl. I think almost more than anything, I mean, yeah, thyme adds a really nice flavor component, but it's gonna look nice. Once we add a little olive oil here, we don't need any salt. All right, boom, done. Let's talk about plating techniques now. All right, we have the nice wide-rimmed white plate. You know, those china patterns that your, grandmother used. Love you, Grandma. They're great, but they don't necessarily lend themselves well to what we need to do here. And actually, real quick, I want to talk about the corn as well. So we just took this, we grilled it on the grill, so it's got this nice charred texture flavor going on here. We're going to add a touch of olive oil and salt. Give that a little mix. That's going to add a nice little smoky component to the dish. Right back into it. Here we go. All right, so we're going to do a nice little dollop here. Maybe we go one more. We're going to clean the back of the spoon and then use that to give ourselves a little almost elliptical shaped motion, right? So now everything we do is going to follow that, and these are going to be some of the techniques that we talk about. Now we're just going to build little points of interest throughout the plate. We're going to come back from each of the components here, and we're going to give it little textural differences and little small nuances that at the end of the day, it's all going to come together. It's going to work nicely together. And what we're doing is just creating little points of interest along the puree, along the plate here. Everything is keeping this crescent shape that we have created. I'm going to do a little hazelnut snow. And in a situation like this, it's so easy to overdo it. restraint is the #1 trick to use here. All right, let's put some tomatoes in there, why not? So the nice brightness of the tomatoes are gonna work really well with the crab and the avocado. Give this whole dish some freshness, right? It's 100 million degrees outside across the country. Things are going crazy, but at least you have something nice and cool to come home to. What more could you ask for? Let's see, maybe we're gonna do some radish in here. This will add a nice little component. We've got a mandolin. Just one or two. Maybe we take one and we're gonna say, oh, get up under there. All right. All right, so now I want to talk about something that's kind of going on in my brain as I'm doing this, so we can share this and you can be doing it for your friends at your next dinner party. So we created that crescent moon shape, right? And now what we have is almost a straight line. So that's fine, but we want to put some things maybe here and here that are going to continue to create that crescent moon shape that we originally started with the puree. We have plenty of stuff left to play around with that we can do that. We've got some nice fresh dill. And some little greens here. They're gonna help us to give the plate some more life. And these are some little pea vines. Beautiful this time of the year. Something to keep that curve going now. This is the point where you can add too much. We're talking just terms of plating techniques. So we have all the things that we always talk about here. We're gonna get everything a little glisten. Make it shine a little bit, right? A little salt on the tomatoes. Okay, so we have our height. We have our linear motion that we created, that contoured elliptical shape. Everything else followed that. We have the most important thing, the negative space that we really need to make everything pop. And we have little points of interest, contrast, that kind of draw your eye to different points on the plate. And so there you have it. We have a crab salad with some sun gold tomatoes, avocado puree, little microgreens, and charred corn. Enjoy, guys. All right, guys, now we're gonna go into an amazing seared scallop dish. This is all about seafood today, and one of my favorite seafood offerings are some sea scallops. They're nice and sweet, they're buttery, pan sear them with a little fresh thyme. Can't get much better than that. Let's check it out. So we have some polenta. This is just some organic polenta that we've steeped with a little chicken broth. We've added in some butter to make it nice and creamy. That's gonna be the base of our dish. And we're gonna make some plantain chips. And we just have some neutral oil here. We have a nice green plantain. You gotta make sure it's one of the green ones, not yellow, because when they get more yellow, they're softer, they're sweeter, and they don't slice as easily on our trusty mandolin, and they don't fry up as easily as either. So, we got one. All right. We don't want to overcrowd the pan. We want to make sure we only fill it in batches. We can come back and do the rest. Doesn't take that long at all. And if you overcrowd it, it's going to boil over, which isn't good. And these are actually almost ready. So we're going to grab a small little strainer and then we're going to take them out. We're going to go ahead and dump the rest of them in there after these have had a few seconds to let some of that water content out. You can hear it frying in there. That's all the water coming out. We're gonna grab a nice little plate here. They're gonna come out looking just like this. Did these ahead of time just to save you a little time. Want to kind of move them around a little bit here. Keep them moving, so it's gonna keep them from sticking together. All right, now we're gonna grab our strainer and So all we have here is a slotted spoon just to let that oil out. All right, you're getting excited. There's nothing better at summertime than some plantain chips. You could take these in many different directions. You could add a little barbecue seasoning to these and just eat them as chips. You could serve these with some tuna poke. You could serve these as a base with some maybe barbecue pulled pork with some pickled jalapenos, you know, whatever. The sky's the limit, your imagination. All right, nice golden brown here. So the main thing we want to make sure we do, get all that oil off. And then we salt them as soon as they come out. So that salt's going to absorb down into the plantains. It's nice and hot. And we're going to reserve these for later. All right, so when we come back, we're going to go into the polenta. We're going to sear off the scallops. We're going to bring it all together, see what happens. Stay tuned. Let's make some pickled peppers. This is going to bring all the dish together. We've got the nice, rich, creamy polenta, the sweet scallops, the bacon. These are all umami flavors. We need something to offset that. Every dish needs acidity, in my opinion, but that's why you came here, is to hear my opinion, so you're stuck with it. All right, here we go. First, we're going to start our pickling liquid. Just some pink peppercorns, super mild. We're going to toast them off in the pan. And then we're going to add equal parts vinegar and water. Add some salt, add some sugar here, just to balance it out a little bit. And that's maybe about 3 tablespoons. We're gonna taste it. We've got a little tasting spoon here. And give it a stir. That tastes like pickles. All right, so what are some variations you could make with this? You could use, instead of your salt, maybe some fish sauce. It'd be more of a nakmam sauce, and you could take that into some Southeast Asian direction. All right, let's talk about pickling liquids and pickling vegetables with vinegar. This is much different than lacto-fermented pickles, and we'll get into that at another show. But with this, we're going to bring our pickling liquid to a boil. We're going to add our sliced vegetables, and then once it comes to room temperature, just leave it on the countertop. It's good to go, ready to be enjoyed. We're gonna slice our peppers. I like to use a mandolin because it keeps everything super even, cut exactly the same, and that's what makes things aesthetically pleasing, and that's what we're going for here. When it gets down to the last part, eat that, throw it in a salad, throw it in a stock pot, but don't risk your fingers. All right, just gonna kind of motor through these. I got a few more here I want to add to the party, add a little more color. Once again, these are not spicy. Boom, done. We have come to a boil here. I just turned the heat down a little bit because it was already boiling, reducing. We didn't necessarily need that. And we're just gonna add these in here. Turn it off. Done. Okay? Now, give our cooktop a wipe here. Set these to the side. Now we have some that we made earlier, and when we come back, we're gonna start our pan searing of our scallops. We're gonna bring everything together, plate it really nice. It's gonna be great. Check it out. Now we're ready to go in with our scallops. Got a hot pan, some nice, beautiful sea scallops. We're just gonna add a little olive oil, a little salt, both sides here. We're gonna season them right before they go into the pan so it doesn't pull out all the moisture. That's what we want to hear, that nice sizzle. We know our pan is hot enough that way. Center of the burner. so it heats up evenly. All right, so we're going to talk about a few things that's going on in this pan. We are not crowding the pan first and foremost, because if we do, everything that you cook releases water. And if you have too much liquid in the pan, the steam from one scallop is going to wash off the sear from the next scallop, basically. And that's not what we want. We want that golden brown deliciousness. And so we're going to give ourselves plenty of space to stretch out, stretch our little scallop legs. And grab our trusty fish spatula. This right here, one of the most valuable utensils in the kitchen. Flexible, I don't leave home without it, neither should you. All right, let's add in some butter. All right, we're back, guys. We're ready to plate our scallops dish. We have our plantain chips we made earlier, our pickled sweet peppers. We have some rendered cubed pork belly, also known as bacon. Greatest stuff on the planet right there. We have our nice golden brown seared scallops. My mouth is watering. Creamy polenta here. We made with some chicken stock, touch of butter at the end, hint of salt, done. And let's add some scallops to the party. Let's see what we can do here. And some bacon, get you in the party. And some pickled peppers to offset everything, counter that richness, the saltiness. Maybe a few more scallops here and there, because it is, after all, a scallops dish. And some more plantain chips. I have this guy like he was just floating up off the plate. All right, I think that's about it. So we're gonna call this our pan-seared scallops with creamy polenta, plantain chips, lardons, and pickled peppers. There you go. All right, thanks for staying tuned today. We hoped you picked up some great tricks on plating techniques. We made some really fun dishes to wow your friends with. One of those were the pan-seared scallops with the plantain chips. We have a little bit left over. Just wanted to show another way that you could maybe plate this as a little cocktail hour, some hors d'oeuvres. So once again, plantain chips, creamy polenta, pork belly, pickled peppers, and some seared sea scallops. I'm gonna see if I can get it all in one bite. Here we go.